For our very first questions, Nathan, did you have any of Ororon's quotes stick with you, or any of them memorable to you?
Yes. I thought, and this was the one, as we know how silly he can be. And I don't want to give too many spoilers if you haven't gotten this part to the game, but for those who have played, when he's fighting the Abyss and he has to go leave and take care of something. That was probably the funniest line. It is in reference to his vegetables. That I think in the middle of me recording that line, I died laughing, and I was like, "I'm so sorry, guys, so sorry." It took me forever to get through it. I think I had to do it 3 or 4 more times before I was able to get through the line because it's so ridiculous. But yeah, we had a great time with that line. So if you haven't gotten to that game, get to it. You'll probably have a chuckle that he's got more important things to do than fight the Abyss.
Oh, that's lovely. What part of it specifically did you really struggle with? What made it something that you had to really repeat?
Just the fact that he was more concerned with his vegetables rather than going to fight the main cause of this whole problem. I'm like, guys, like, bro, what are you doing? You're trying to save Natlan, and you're over here worried about these things that will be there when you get back. But we see where his mind is at. He is so concerned with his poor aphids. Granny was so upset, but hey, Ororon will be Ororon, and he has to do what he has to do. You can't fault the guy. That's what he lives for, is his vegetables.
That's fair. Man wants to raise vegetables. Unfortunately, he's born to save the world.
Yes.
It's all too common. We've all been there, I'm sure.
Right. We all have a garden back there that needs to be tending to from time to time.
Absolutely. Scout, why don't you lead us into the next question?
Okay, sure. So, also realized that I think we might have skipped a slide here. So, why don't you introduce
Oh.
yourself, Nathan, to everyone here? Just give
Oh.
us the quick elevator pitch, what you've done, who you are, and we'll continue on after that.
Yes, so I am Nathan Nokes, voice actor. Been doing this almost 10 years. I've had the opportunity. Some of you have done your research. I am Barden in Dislight. I've done a couple feature animations that are huge in China. Also, I've done Genshin Impact, Ororon, as you all know. And as you see, I've done stuff for Disney, Pizza Hut, Volvo, Google. Most of my stuff is all commercial. So I'm slowly getting into the video game world. But yeah, 99% of the stuff I do is all commercials or even phone systems. Thank you for calling. Press 1 for, the one we yell at all the time. So,
Oh wow,
um,
that was
yeah, exactly.
wow,
So
that was really good.
that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. I'm a full-time voice actor here in Houston. And yeah, I've got an amazing wife that supports what I do in this crazy world and in this crazy business. She puts up with all of my nonsense and my voices and my craziness. So thank you guys for putting up with my craziness as well today.
That's lovely.
Awesome.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Nathan.
Thank you.
Since we're on the topic of introductions, I am Eris. I don't have as much of a colorful background as you do, but I am the media lead for KQM. And we also have Scout here with us. Scout, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I am Scout. I make videos about Genshin on YouTube. I also stream, do all kinds of stupid things in Genshin. What we're left doing 4 years later. But that's awesome. And what I'm hearing from you, Nathan, is that you are somehow like the most hated man on the phone, but nobody knows it yet. So you just outed yourself. Now
Yes.
next time we get stuck on that, we're like, Nathan!
Yes, you can blame me. I've done over 1,500 of those, so I'm sure at one point
Oh, wow.
you'll hear me say, "Press 1 for information." Oh my god, get me to a representative. If you like a representative, press 3.
Man.
Yeah,
All right. Well, now we know who to contact when we have issues.
Exactly.
some of our chatters seem to have started short circuiting after hearing that. The
A
effect you
little
have.
little triggered at.
Yes, if you're twitching your eye, I do apologize.
Okay. Well, that actually kind of fits the next question. So, what was your first voice acting job like, and do you have any memorable experience with that profession?
Yeah, so I remember like it was yesterday, and it was when I first started taking off. I think I had just gotten my equipment, set up my. It was weird. So my booth was in my closet, and everything was in a shoe rack, and I had that all, padded up and everything. But it was from this guy contacted me because he wanted me to do a little story about him and his wife, and to do a voiceover during their anniversary. So I did the recording and sent it over to them, and they were like, "Oh, this is amazing, and I love it." And I went back to listen to it not too long ago, and like my mouth dropped to the floor. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this was like the worst recording I've ever done." And that was about almost 10 years ago. Um, but yeah, that was interesting, to be able to just start on this crazy journey, being able to do this full time now. And then I think a memorable experience. Actually just recently, because most of the stuff that I've done, it's always just, you connect with the client, you sit on the recording, and then that's the end of that. But being part of the Genshin family, and this is not just because I'm here, but this is honest to goodness truth, just the interaction that I'm having with the fans, with people. They've sent me things, they've sent me artwork. I've taken a look at the GIF artwork that you guys have, and I'll take a look at the story soon. But I think this right now is probably the most memorable experience I've had in my almost 10 years of doing voiceover. Because you don't get a whole lot of interaction with people doing voiceover. Like I said, you're in the booth, you connect with a client from time to time with Source Connect or whatever you use, and then that's the end of that, and you move on with your day. The conventions are really nice. You get to meet with other voice actors, but for those who truly appreciate the work that the voice actors put in to make bring their characters to life is definitely truly memorable. A lot of these people love Ororon. They are super excited for him. I've seen some people, they're like, "Oh, I'm spending my life savings to get him." Obviously they're joking, but people are spending their hard-earned money to get this character. And so that was one of my biggest things, was to do him justice. And everyone's like, I've seen so many people say his voice fits perfectly, and I'm happy for that. I was very nervous if I was the right fit for him, um, going into being able, when we saw him, we were like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's like scary, and he's gonna kill somebody." And in reality, he's just a vegetable guy. So yeah, interacting with all of the fans thus far, I think, has been the most memorable, in my profession so far.
Yeah, we've definitely heard that from other people when they join the like Genshin community. It's like whiplash.
Yes, it
You
is.
get introduced to so many people at once.
Yeah, and I mean the Genshin community is so loving. I mean, when you go into the acting world in Hollywood, it's like a dog eat dog. But here in the voiceover world and in Genshin, I mean, everybody here has been so welcoming. Even if Ororon is not their favorite character, they're still super super kind and amazing people.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see. Question 3. Eris.
That's lovely to hear. We'll probably come back to the voice acting stuff. I'm sure a lot of people have questions about it. And it is rare, like you said, to actually interact with voice actors and other people that are experienced with it.
Yeah.
But moving on. What was your biggest challenge when voicing Ororon? Did you have to study in advance? Did you have to get into a mode specifically for Ororon?
Yeah, and you may ask this later down the road, but me and Ororon are not. We don't see eye to eye in a sense. Our personalities are very different. So me, I try to live high on life. Every day to me is going to try to be a good day. And I interact with all of these people. Sometimes if you ask my wife, she'll tell me I'm too extroverted sometimes. Whereas Ororon is the opposite. He sticks to himself. He's secluded. He's lived in nature all his life. So trying to get because well, maybe we can talk about that later. But the casting process was very interesting. But my personality, I have to throw out when I get into the booth. And when I get into the booth, I have to get into this mindset of, okay, who Ororon is, what he's trying to do. Because this is a real character that I have to get into. So a lot of times what I'll do when preparing is watch cutscenes that I've done already and get an idea of, okay, what he sounds like, what is he trying to accomplish? And then within the scene, I have to change exactly how I'm speaking. So when I'm speaking to the captain, that's one way. When I'm speaking to Granny, that's another way. When I'm speaking to somebody else, my vegetables, I sound a different way. And I try to keep them close in the same neighborhood, but enough to where you can hear the difference. And so there's a big, you can hear the difference when I'm talking to, or when Ororon is talking to the traveler. He's kind of, okay, we're available, now you can come out, Captain, to say, what your plan is. So you can hear the difference when I introduce the captain. So that's probably been the biggest challenge, is to get into his mind and figure out, okay, what is he thinking right now? Who is he talking to right now? And when I get the script, all I get is my lines. So I don't know who's talking. I don't know what's happening. I don't know the story. So I really have to go in and hope that, the booth director and everybody knows exactly what's going on, so I can ask them. And they said, okay, basically what happens is they'll read the traveler's lines or the captain's lines or whoever it is, and then I have to go off of that. So that's tough. Going in pretty much blind every session and hoping I do it justice.
Hmm. Yeah, that definitely does sound difficult. And it does line up with what other people have been saying about the industry in general.
Mhm.
Um, it does seem challenging, and honestly, kudos to you for the amount of effort you put into this. It definitely does show,
Well, thank you.
and chat is backing us up for this.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it because it definitely keeps you on your toes for sure. Like when you're just getting lines and you're like, what is going on? Because sometimes you can tell who he's talking to, especially when he's talking to Paimon. He's kind of sometimes to me it seems like he's teasing her from time to time. Um, but a lot of times I'm like, who am I speaking to? I have no idea, and a lot of that determines on how I deliver the lines. So if he's talking to the captain, it's going to be way more serious than if he's talking to Granny. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. It probably definitely would help if you actually could bounce off other voice actors a lot more consistently.
Yeah,
Though
that's
for
super
reasons
helpful.
that's
Mhm.
hmm yeah. Um, okay. I think we can head on to the next question. We have a theme for these questions. So we can Scout. Do you wanna take this one over?
Yeah. That's super interesting that you didn't know who you were even talking to. That
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's definitely a
Yeah.
hurdle of that.
Yeah.
But
That sounds very difficult.
so the next question
Is
is, what drew you to voicing Ororon? And if we go by what some other people have said, they didn't know that they were who they were gonna, try out for. So it's interesting to hear what you're gonna say about this. Or you
Okay,
just ended up with
that's
it.
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So this is the interesting part, is when I got the audition, the game was codenamed, and Ororon's name was codenamed, and there was no picture. So the lines that I got were, he's talking to his vegetables or his plants. I think it said house plants. So, and it's like, all right, guys, I'm gonna leave now. Grow big and strong. And those were it was a one-liner, two-liner word or sentences, and I'm like, okay, what am I going off of here? So I got a small backstory of where he's a recluse. He likes animals rather than humans, and I'm like, okay, I know plenty of people like that. But I didn't really know much about his personality. I didn't know he was going to be more down here. I didn't know what he looked like. I had no pictures or anything. So I was going through, did the audition, and I apologize if I'm getting ahead if you guys have another question for this, but so I did the audition, sent it off, and basically for me is I send it and forget it. And I'll never think of it, because if you always constantly are thinking about the auditions, it'll drive you crazy. So then I get a message back from my agent, and he's like, hey, they want to change the direction a little bit. Can you do it like this? And I'm like, okay, sure. So I do it, send it off. Then I get a third email, and they're like, hey, they want to try it a different way. And I'm like, what is going on? So at this point, I call my animation coach, my video game coach, and I'm like, hey, look, what do they want from me? I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know his name. I don't even know what game this is. She's like, I don't know. Let's just read the script and see what we can figure out. So we changed it up a little bit more. And then I sent it off. And then I get a fourth email with new direction. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, I talked to my agent. I'm like, what do they want? Are these callbacks? Are these just direction changes? What do they want? And each of these auditions were up here in this voice range. Hey guys, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah. And that's what they went with. They're like, okay, yeah, cool. We'll cast you. And then when we saw the character, me and the producer and the booth director are looking, and they're like, this guy's like extra mysterious. Like, can you bring it down? And they're like, let's play the original audition. So I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, okay, can you bring it down a couple of octaves? And I was like, something down here. And like, oh, yes, let's stick with that and see where that goes. And so then we started doing the lines, and it seemed to work well for this mysterious guy. Now, there was a couple of times when they had to redirect me while we were in session, because I kept wanting to come back up here. This is my natural speaking voice. But yeah, then once we got into the game, once I got settled and knew Ororon well, then I was able to stay further down here in this range.
That's crazy. I can't believe
Yes.
they I don't know. It doesn't even sound like they withheld it from you. It sounds like they didn't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
It's
too.
like-
Is they're not sure, because now that we know who the character is, obviously they knew who he was. So they're like, okay, he's kind of silly, but he's not as perky as that. And that's what I kept hearing is less perky. And I'm like, okay, what, do you want me like down here, So we finally found a nice balance, is what you hear today. But it took a while. It took quite a while for us to get, to fine tune his voice.
It definitely sounds like an image would have helped the process a lot.
Yes, I didn't get that till after I got cast. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is what he looks like? And it was this teeny tiny little 1x1 or 2x2 image, and it was like all pixelated. And I'm like, okay, I see this hooded guy with dark hair. And that's pretty much all it was, and his hood. And I'm like, what is this? So, yeah.
Wow. Well, at least you ended up getting the job.
Yes,
after
and
all
it's been
that,
fun.
after all that effort. So
Yeah, it's been fun.
congrats on that.
Thank you
That
very
is
much.
that is really funny though. You definitely helped them find what they wanted for that character.
Good. I'm glad, because we went back and forth for, I think, 2 weeks trying to nail that down. And after I got with my video game coach, I think that helped out a lot.
Yeah, that's great. That's great that you had that help.
Yeah,
Always got
absolutely.
to find people in your life like that.
Amen to that. Always have a mentor.
True that. All right, Eris.
Yeah, having someone to guide you definitely does make a world of difference. It speeds things up so much, regardless of profession. Having a good mentor is definitely something you should try to.
Yeah, you get a different point
Um,
of view too.
yeah, for sure, for sure. That's why actually working with people is always helpful. And the chat does seem to agree. They love the idea of Peppy Ororon.
Oh yeah.
Some of them want to hear lines in that kind of tone, that kind of speak.
Let me see. I think I pulled some. Um, let's see. I think I've got a couple of lines. Oh wait, are these? Oh wait, hold on. I can't. No, these lines have not been released yet. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let me go back to the
Oh,
older one.
okay.
Wow. That. See, here's the thing. This NDA is so tight. Like I would be ripped in
I can
half.
imagine. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Here we go. Here's a good one. Can I say this line real quick? I think you guys will like this
go
one.
for it.
I cannot see the sun. Without the sun, I can't see the truth. You are currently blocking the light, so I must beseech you to please move aside. So you see, I don't know.
That was
Maybe
so sassy.
is that um is that the kind of what they're looking for? I don't know.
Well, judging by the reaction, I think so.
Yeah, there we go. See, maybe we can convince them to go a different way. Who knows? I don't know. We're like all the way through these at this point, so maybe if he does a rerun or something, we'll do that.
Maybe for a future event.
Yeah, there you
We
go.
we've had some of those before.
Oh, nice.
He that definitely does give him a flamboyant vibe. So maybe who knows? Maybe we'll have like a play event, and Ororon's gonna be one of the stage actors.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, he would definitely
That
go
would be
crazy
an
about it.
idea. Maybe we can actually get someone to draw that. I think that would make for a very memorable art piece.
Or he'd be so nervous that he would just kind of be shaking and super quiet. I cannot see the sun. Without excuse me, Ron. We can't hear you. I cannot see the sun. Maybe we'll call you. Don't worry, we'll call you.
Oh boy. Um, I think he's going to need some extra vegetable time if that does happen.
Yeah, he's gonna have to have a vegetable in his jacket or something, or give him more emotional support.
For sure. I'm actually going to jump to question 7 since we kind of already covered 5 and 6. If you're okay with that, Scout. The next one, 7. Okay. So, what is your favorite thing about Ororon, just in general? Whether it's his personality, the way he interacts with people, his design. Um, what
So
what what is your favorite part about him?
there's a lot actually. I don't know if I could narrow it down to one. But I like his color scheme. I thought his
Mm,
color scheme is really, really cool, especially I've seen some art where they add almost like a neon look to it.
mhm,
Um, and that really brings it out. I like that a lot. And then him and his interaction with Lolly. It's so funny because he's the hero of Natlan and he can kick some serious tail. But when Granny shows up, he is like a shell of himself. So,
mhm,
um, yeah, that I love their you know, interactions, their personality, because he changes like crazy. And he can be strong when he needs to be. And so I appreciate that. And he has a tender heart. He's not some guy that's going to go out and kill every little thing that he can see, but he wants to save Natlan. He wants to have a good relationship with his family. He wants to save his vegetables. So I think that's where me and him have some similarities, where we want to um, try to do good things for people and save the
mhm.
people that matter most.
Mhm.
So yeah, that I like about him. And soon, I've been able to see. I guess we've already seen in on Twitter and different things like that. But the way he moves, the way he fights, especially when he has his bow and stuff like that. If you haven't seen it yet, I think it's pretty cool. Some of the stuff that he can do, some of the powers he has, is pretty awesome. I also really, really like that stuff too because it's something I've never seen in any other character. So it's been pretty cool. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, we'll definitely be looking forward to his release. I'm not sure how familiar you are with KCM, but our whole thing is taking characters, just figuring out how they work, the little things that make them tick, and how to really just make them shine as much as
Nice.
possible.
Yeah,
Um,
there's gonna be some cool stuff with him.
yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Um, yeah, why don't you take this next one?
Sure. So we kind of talked about this a little bit, but specifically, what was your most memorable recording session? Like, out of all the lines that you've done, I guess
Um,
Genshin or not.
Yeah, in
This one's
general,
not
like
specific.
historically. Yeah,
oh, historically.
yeah, like to
Hmm.
date. It could be you had a fun interaction with different VA. You had a particularly interesting gig.
I think besides Genshin, besides my first session, there was one because I'm in Houston, right? I don't have the opportunity of being in Dallas or New York or LA, so I'm always recording by myself. Even if there's another character or another person in this commercial or animation or whatever. So I had the opportunity, and I've only done it once, where I had my co-star on the line with me, and we were going back and forth. Now, those who are in LA or, like I said, in Dallas or New York, this is what they do on a daily basis. But for those of us that aren't in those major markets, having that other person to go off of is incredible. And being able to do that was really, really interesting. It was for a PSA. I had to be the jerk boyfriend. Um, and it really helped to have somebody else on that other line.
Mhm.
But in the Genshin side, I think my most memorable recording session was the first one. Probably because it was definitely growing pains for sure. For me as an actor to figure out where he is, like what is his mindset, but also the producer and the booth director, we were all trying to figure this guy out at once. Trying to figure out, okay, what is his personality? Is he, a recluse? Does he even care about people? Is he just out there to kill everybody? And then we start seeing more lines and more lines about vegetables. And we're like, man, is this guy a vegetable farmer? I kind of find out he was. So we're like, okay. So yeah, I think that for Genshin, that first session was was definitely one of my favorites just because that's when we did the most learning. And it was really nice to be able to see, this character grow from that first session.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it when like you feel like you can grow with the character, especially like for one that you're going to be playing for so long. Like,
Hmm.
man, it's crazy, especially like looking back, even at like TV VAs, where it's like, man, this person started when they were like 12,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're still here doing it. So
yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like Sarah
because
Natachani, she's been doing it for almost 20 years now, doing Ash Ketchum.
oh yeah, oh
So
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
to be known for that one character and you've done it all your life, it's like you now become him or her. You become that character. It's like, oh, where's Nathan? Oh, Nathan's somewhere else, but today it was Ororon.
Mhm.
You internalized the vegetable farmer.
Yes, the vegetables are to be saved at all cost.
I mean,
Well,
health before wealth, I think some people say.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And you got to save the gramps and the grannies.
for
That is
sure.
for sure. Protects it, Lolly.
Yes, protect at all. They always say protect baby Ororon. protect the vegetables. No, we got to protect Granny, man. I mean, she's fierce.
Okay,
protect-
let's be real. Does Granny actually need
Yeah.
protecting from like I think
mean,
I think people need protecting from her. Let's be real. We don't mess with senior citizens.
Yeah.
They
Well,
have
hey, she socked him a good one. She's like, "Oh, it's your Granny. Something's coming."
I
Wrong.
love that line. She came in there and just smacked him right across the face.
Something's coming. Something? You mean somebody? Bam.
Okay, so we just learned that you should have voiced it Lolly too. Okay, noted.
Oh my god. Maybe
Oh, man.
one day we have a reverse a role swap. You
Oh
voice
wait,
it,
that
Lolly.
would be so funny.
Yeah, I don't know if
I
Skyler
would
would
just
like
read
that.
some of these dialogue.
Skyler's gonna be like, "Wait, what? You can't take my character."
Yoink. Mine now.
So we're gonna just steal that one.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Our
Awesome.
character now.
Sorry, Skyler. If you're in the audience, sorry, you've see Lolly's mine now.
Oh.
Funny. Okay, Eris, you're up.
Okay. I think we kind of touched on this. But do you have anything else you wanna add about it? Because I think we touched on it, but from the opposite end, how you and Ororon are different. But what similarities do you think you have with Ororon?
That he cares immensely about his tribe and his family. I mean, you can see, especially as you're playing the game, that the reason why he, went with the Fatui. And he wants to protect his family at all cost. He wants to protect his tribe. And I think to me, I mean, I don't go to the lengths that he does, but my family is extremely important to me. And that's one thing is, if you mess with my family, you're messing with me, and we're gonna have a problem. And so I think that's where we, find some similarities where, he wants to make sure that his family is safe no matter what. And if he has to go behind their back, I mean, I don't do that, but if he has to go behind their back to save them, then, so be it. And so I think that's where we find some similarities is our care for our families, to making sure that they're safe, cared for, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Definitely protective.
Yeah.
Okay. We can hop onto the next one, Scout.
Okay, yeah. So let's see. If you were to come face to face with Ororon, what would you say to him?
Wow.
Or would you just punch him in the face like Sid Lolly?
No, I would. Well, let's see. Man, what would I say to him? I don't know. At first, I would be like, "Hey, can I see your garden?" Because I mean, when you have to leave battle to go save your garden, there must be something in this. And I also want to see these gigantic aphids because I've got a ton of plants. My wife and I, we have like 70 or 80 plants in this house, and we want bugs as far away from our stuff as possible. So I'm like, okay, I need to know, how do you raise these aphids? But then also, I don't know. I mean, we would probably just sit there and just chat about Granny most of the time, and how it'd probably be like a therapy session, I think, where it'd be you talking to me more, and I'm like, sorry, bro. She punched you in the face? Gosh, and in the gut? I don't know what to tell you, bro. I mean, this lady's crazy. And then she would be around hearing that and then probably sock me in the face and in the gut. And yeah, it'd be bad. But yeah, I don't know. I think we'd probably talk about his garden.
Okay.
raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by Sid Lolly.
My hand is raised.
Oh man, that's actually really funny. I actually want to know what his like unfiltered thoughts would be like if he had to talk about her.
Oh,
what do you think? What do you think they'd be? A complete secrecy to his therapist. What would he say?
He would definitely complain, but he would have to use some kind of power or some kind of telepathic something to make sure that she's not even close by, because that woman can hear everything. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay, we need to make sure she's not around. And then he would be like, oh my God, she hits me and she yells at me all the time and she's not nice to me. Like when I was watching these cutscenes, I'm like, dang, she is so mean to him. He's just a little vegetable farmer, guys. Come on, you know. But she wants to help him, you know. That was that one I really liked the line where she's like, she's yelling at him and then she's like, did they hurt you? He's like, no. So I'm like, see, she does care about him. She just has a different way of showing it.
Yeah, I forgot. I think they forgot to add the love language of aggression when they were
Yes.
making that. So
Mm.
that's definitely her love language.
Yes, in the
Mm.
chat, kill the spider mites at all costs. Ororon probably wouldn't think of that, but yes, kill those damn spider mites.
Yeah. How many punches do you think it's gonna take him to develop a Sitlali radar that just informs him whenever she's in the vicinity? Do you think
It's
he's developed a sixth sense at this point?
Obviously not, because
Mm.
he hasn't figured that out yet. But maybe soon he will, you know, because
he's
he was
almost
working.
there.
Yes,
He
he
said
worked.
something's coming.
Yeah, he worked on that one spell where he was like way out in the distance and she didn't know. So he's getting there. He is getting there. I would give it maybe one or two more battles, but he's definitely close.
Mm. Yeah, that's gonna be his training arc. Just Sitlali detection.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of the anti-Raiden training. How awful that was.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Anti-Sith
Yeah,
Lolly training incoming.
yeah, but this time you just watch Ororon himself go through it. The Traveler doesn't have to.
That's
That's
fair.
just another cutscene. Or who knows? Maybe down the line, Sitlali just feels like punching us as well. Nothing is out of the realm of possibility, especially when Paimon's involved.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
all of us are her grandkids at this point.
mm, yeah. I think we kind of covered this one, so we can hop onto the next one, number 12.
All right.
What advice would you give to people that are interested in voice acting as a profession? And realistically, how can they first start out? Like, what steps should they take?
Man,
This
do
is
we
a
have
fairly common question for voice actors, I'm sure.
yeah, do we have like another 6 hours? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh
Um,
God.
no, the biggest thing and okay, let me back up a little bit. When I've seen so many things on social media about people saying, "Oh, you can sit in your bed and read and get, $400 an hour," blah, 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 blah. Okay, first of all, these people aren't voice actors. So they don't understand the work and the stuff that it goes into it. But the first and foremost, if you're interested in voice acting, is get training and get training from somebody who's reputable, meaning they're in the business, they're working consistently, they've got they've got stuff to their name, you know. Um, they're not, just doing, oh yeah, I did my friend's birthday party voiceover. I can be a coach. No, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Somebody that's been in the business long enough. And one of the biggest things I tell everybody is go to iwanttobea voiceactor.com. And D. Bradley Baker, who I'm sure most of us know, he's done
Yeah,
everything under the
he's a
sun.
legend in the scene. Yep.
Yes, he is the legend, the one and only, the top of us all. He has so much information on that website to help you kind of steer you in the right direction, help you avoid pitfalls. And so that's the biggest thing is training. Before you get a studio, before you figure out where in your room you're going to do it, before what you want to do, get the training. And that's important too is not only get training, but think about, I guess that's part of the process is what do you want to do? You want to do commercial? Do you want to do anime? Do you want to do video games? Do you want to do all these things? And then figure out, okay, who is doing the video games and also who is coaching in those video games. Because if you're wanting to do video games, getting a coach for narration is not going to help you. It'll help you for narration, but video games and narration are two completely different things. So I've always, for my students, I don't teach video game, but for my students that do commercial, I recommend some people that have helped me, because video games and anime are, even just those are different. So, trying to figure out what genre you want to get into and then start coaching from there. And then as another big advice I have for students is don't spend a ton of money setting up your studio. I think my first studio cost me maybe $350, $400 at the most. And that's with mic, interface, computer, everything. As long as you have a good sounding space, the microphone is not going to be that big of a deal. Because I've seen some people, they'll spend $3,500 on Neumann U87 microphone, and they've got a terrible space, and they're like, but this microphone's expensive. Well, you don't have a good space. So that's my biggest thing. Training first, and then don't spend so much on equipment at the start.
Yeah, for sure. I do agree that a lot of people seem to think voice acting is just a universal thing, but voice acting for different types of media is they're inherently just very different skills. You can tell by just consuming the different media. For video games, like it also depends on like the genre of video game, right? For
Yeah,
action heavy games, you kind of need like a more gruff, deeper, darker voice. But for more chill games, like just Animal Crossing or something of that sort,
Mhm.
it's more relaxed, more natural sounding. At anime, for example, they'll have these somewhat exaggerated ways of speaking just to keep
Yes.
you focused on what's happening on the screen. So yeah, it definitely does differ, and that's something a lot of people need to hear. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and one thing in doing Genshin, efforts was a new world for me. And when I say efforts, I mean like when he gets hit or he's like, all of
Mhm.
those kinds of things. Each thing that happens to him is a different effort. So, for example, when he jumps to climb on a cliff is different from while he's climbing the cliff. It's just
Mhm.
different from when he gets to the top of the cliff. And all of those are different when he jumps and then when his wings come out. Each one of those are all different. So learning efforts and how to do those things is very important.
Yeah, for sure. Um, do you record those separately, or do you kind of just go in the moment? And then do they just take these clips and then insert them as necessary, or do you have to kind of change it up a little bit every time?
We do it in the same session but separately. So, for example, when I think it was the trailer. No, it was the cutscene when he's fighting the abyss, and he goes, "Oh, that's the abyss." Um, so first we watched the entire cutscene with the Chinese voice actor over it, and we listened to their efforts and all of that stuff. So first we recorded the lines, and then we went back after everything was done and then put the efforts in separate. Um, so yeah, those all have to be different just because I have to go down once, they start counting the beeps and they go deet deet, and then on the third one then I start going. So it's a lot easier to do the line and not have to worry about the efforts. Because these efforts are super fast. He's like when he was running, that was one. He was jumping through the air, that was another. When he hit the bow, that was another. So taking them separately is much more helpful, at least for me.
Mhm.
All right, I'm going to
Okay.
cut you guys off
Sure.
there, even though it sounds very interesting. We have a lot more questions to go, and we're
Yeah,
already
for
slightly
sure.
over time for this section. So I'm going to skip
Mhm.
to this next question that I want to ask. How are you a gamer, Nathan? Do you
Yes.
frequently play video games?
Yes.
I guess the big question is, do you play Genshin?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Let
Okay.
me back up. I mean, I knew of Genshin before I was cast, but it was never on my radar. And so when I got cast is when I started playing because I needed to know exactly what's going on, what's happening, what is this game all about. But yes, both my wife and I are gamers for sure. We're just finished playing Horizon Zero Dawn, the second one, which
Ooh.
that I think is our favorite game thus far. Sorry,
Ooh,
guys.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
suck at it, but it's a good one.
Yeah, we like that game a lot. Played Breath of the Wild, all of those. I grew up playing on, Sega Genesis, Nintendo. So I've been gaming all my life pretty much.
Yeah, cool. Well, you're in a community of your peers here. Sounds like you're also partial to bow characters.
You know,
I think
that's
yeah, we kind of have a pattern here.
yes, that's my wife. She is the bow. Like for me, I'm not gonna lie. When I heard Ororon was a bow character, I was tiny bit disappointed. Because
Mm.
simply my fighting style is I'm gonna be up in their face, hand to hand combat, and I've died so many times that way. But my wife, she'll be like way up on the cliff and just bowing them, boom, 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 and then she's like, "See, this is how you play. This is how you're supposed to do it." So I'm learning that way. She dies way less than I do. So yeah.
Mhm. Okay. As a fellow melee enjoyer, are you more of a pugilist fist to fist, or are you more of a swordsman?
I like swords. Definitely swords. So like I loved playing Kaya and, his whole sword which was really nice. I'm not so much a claymore or was it bow arm, but yeah, definitely sword for sure.
Okay. All right, that's fair. Okay. While we're on the topic, what kind of character would you like to play and voice act? You've already mentioned you like melee fighters.
Mm.
So what's your ideal character then?
I think the most fun for me to play, and I've kind of got a small taste of it, is a villain. It's not like down here and in the gruff. It's not a Batman type villain, but he's smart. He's like, yeah, everything's great, but you're about to die. That kind of thing. So I've got a chance
Mm,
to do that with Toyota's Grip. That's their anime. So if you go to toyota.com/grip, you can see the anime. I'm in the last episode at the very end. But I like kind of the villains that aren't super serious. So that would be kind of fun. Like, they not quite Joker crazy, but in between Joker and too serious.
So they're a little more chaotic, basically.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's definitely a stark contrast to Mr. Vegetable
Hmm.
Lover. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
absolutely.
Yeah, really hope you get to play more roles like that.
Yeah, that would be
Be
fun.
definitely interesting to see. I
I
think
gotta find
villains
one.
are just a lot like you're obviously supposed to like the hero, but the villain like good villains are just timeless. You can't hate a good villain.
Right. Like to me, Darth Vader is one of the best villains of all time. So
Mm,
if you can have a good villain, you got a good story.
for sure. We can hop on to the next one, and this one is from Hoyo Cafe's very own Lyra.
Oh, nice.
Scott, why don't you take this one?
All right, hold on, let me read it. So, your character, Ororon, and the character Sitlali have a very interesting and fun relationship. How did you work together with Skyler to make this become more authentic and really come to life?
So I wish this was the case, but I have actually never spoken audibly to Skylar during this time. Actually, I didn't even hear her voice while we were recording. Um, basically what happened was they're like, okay, see, Lolly's here, she's upset, and she says, I can't believe you did this, Ororon. What do you have to say for yourself? And you would say, and then I would read my line. So that was the tough part, because I think if we were in the studio together, and this is probably why studios want people, all the actors together. If we were there, the voice acting might have been a little different. To be honest, I'm not sure. Maybe not. But yeah, I had never heard her lines while I was recording.
I hear this is pretty common too amongst like a lot of people in industry, not even just gaming too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
that's too
that's
surprised
the
by
big
that.
thing. Yeah, I mean, even like with some of the bigger games, like you know, oh my gosh, we were just talking about it. Horizon. You know, the actor who played Silence, he was like, I didn't know what was going on. I was just, got this line and said it. So
Yeah, that's definitely like one of the things I would say for being like the hardest thing for being a VA is just like trying to read the energy when there's no energy to read.
exactly, exactly. So I mean, if I lived in LA, that would be really, really awesome. But I don't. So we work with what we got.
Yeah. So you said that have you been to cons then? You said that you like them.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten a chance to go to any at the moment. I will be signing at one. It's an anime con in Fort Myers, May 17th, and then I'm in talks with doing some here in Houston and a couple other places. So more to come on that. But yeah,
Well, yeah, hopefully you get to meet some of your coworkers then in the
yes,
future at those cons cuz they're definitely an experience.
yeah.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
honestly, like the fact that you guys are doing this essentially in the dark, in the void, is really, really impressive.
Thank.
It goes to show how much effort and dedication you put into it.
I like that. It's definitely going into the void, and then it gets put together, and you're like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, you really wouldn't expect it, right? Like as a consumer, just hearing that kind of thing, you wouldn't expect, like, you would be expecting these voice actors to just be sitting in the same room and like bouncing off of each other, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that you're not, the fact that you are sitting just that far apart, you don't really interact or hear each other in the first place. That's really impressive that you can make something sound so good.
Yeah, and that's where the voice actor part comes in.
Mm,
Is you have to, in your mind, create this setting of like, who am I talking to? Where are we at? And what's happening? So like when I'm getting berated by Lolly, I'm like, okay, well, what does he feel in this moment? Is he upset, or is he just like gonna take it and move on? So
mhm. Yeah, for sure. That is a skill that not many people can claim to have. It's genuinely impressive.
thank you.
How much
So,
energy do we have to deal with Sitlali today? Kind of
yeah,
tired. Let's
exactly.
just let her
Yeah.
be.
Right. You're like, never
Yeah.
mind. What? You're not going to say anything? No, I don't have the energy for you today.
Yeah. Check back tomorrow.
Exactly.
All right, one more question. Eris,
Yeah,
why don't you
last
finish it
one,
out?
and we can keep this quick. We've kind of touched up on it. But how many times does it typically take you to just perfect a single dialogue session? Just like the lines you read. Do you go over them multiple times, trying different routes, or do you already have an idea that in mind of what you want it to sound like, and you just work towards that?
So usually I'll get the lines probably a day or two before the session. So I'll try to look up, try to read as many of them as I can before the session. But I really don't. I just kind of get into a general mindset. So I'll watch the cut scene, kind of get a general mindset of the personality of Ororon, and then we'll just go from there. So like I'll do a line based off of what the producer says, and now that I know who I'm talking to, and I kind of can go from there, and they may direct me a little bit different, like, oh, hey, be a little bit more bubbly, or oh, we need this to be a little more serious. But yeah, usually 1 to 2 times, depending on redirects and things like that. But yeah, it's usually pretty quick.
Okay, that's cool. Um, I don't have anything further to add. Do you have anything you'd like to ask about Scout before we move on to the next segment?
Yeah, no, I'm good. You really did a good job answering all our questions,
Thank you.
Nathan. So now we're gonna throw you to the sharks and let the people
Oh God.
ask you questions directly. So all of you guys that are watching on Twitch, we're gonna be doing a live Q&A from Hoyo Cafe, discord.gg/traveler. If you want to join, you can come up on the stage and talk to Nathan directly. So we're gonna be doing that, and then after this section, we are going to take questions from chat. So if you want to ask your question, join the Discord. Let's see. Rules for this. Please be respectful. Don't ask anything inappropriate. The usual. To request a chat, I believe it's like a little hand icon that's a request to speak, and someone from the cafe staff will let you up on the stage one at a time. Have your question ready. No need to be worried if you guys are a little nervous. I swear we're all nice, or at least I can vouch for myself.
I think I'm more nervous.
I'm not
than
nice. I'm very mean. I'm
I
very
can't. Yeah, I
mean.
can't vouch for anyone else.
Grr.
Don't say anything that you wouldn't say in front of your capital G granny, which
Or
I guess
Silali.
means Sid
Yeah,
Lolly. So
exactly. Unless you want to get punched in the face.
Beware
With
the
no
wrath
mercy.
of Grandma.
Right.
Beware the wrath of Granny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello there.
Hi.
Who are your favorite characters other than Ororon?
I would have to say Kaya just because I like his combat style. And I like that I can like freeze everything, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, that's probably my other favorite. Now, granted, I haven't been playing that long. He's obviously the first one, I guess, or one of the first ones. So him, and probably my second one would be any Geo Claymore character, because it's a lot easier to mine things when you only have to hit it twice. But yeah, definitely Kaya for sure. I just like his style. I like his fighting style, like because I'm more hand-to-hand combat, more sword combat. So yeah, definitely those for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Man, that took me back to like 1.0.
1.0. Yeah.
Where are you in the story? That's like super early. Kaya, man.
Yeah, so I got through, let's see, I got through the first one. I played around in Leeway a little bit. And then I'm just like, my goal is I got to get to Natland. You know, that was the biggest thing. So I skipped Sumeru. I skipped. what else did I
Skip.
Yeah, I'm
You
like,
skipped to
Hang on.
sorry to all the other characters. I'm like, sorry, I got to get to my boy Ororon.
For sure, yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
Marauder. Hi. I was wondering, what's your favorite band or singer?
Ooh, that's good. Wow, man, who is it? So I think it all depends on what's happening in the moment, right? So, like, if I'm trying to wake up, it's definitely got to be more mellow. And my wife is probably like listening now and be like, "This boy does not know any music." I don't know. I like Linkin Park, especially when Transformers came
Ooh.
out. That was really
Mhm.
fire. And then the song, Chester's last song, what is the lyric? Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, Chad, help us out here. What was that last
I
song?
remember the album. I love the album.
Yes.
One Last Light or
Yeah,
something
like
like
that.
that.
Yes, something like that.
Hold on. I have. It's actually in my favorites. I love Chester. You have no idea. I've been
Yeah,
listening to Emptiness Machine and Heavy as the Crown
Nice.
for like the last 2 weeks on loop.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
Linkin
that's
Park
what. Oh,
is a
sorry.
good one. And my thing goes from like one side of the spectrum to the other. So, like, again, depending on, I haven't listened to him a long time. Josh Groban, Linkin Park, Foo Fighters, Goo Goo Dolls, all those guys from back in the day.
Yeah, I felt that because my taste also really fluctuates. My favorite band is Powerwolf, but my favorite singer is Lady Gaga. So I completely
Ah,
understand.
there you go. So it's like some days you're like, okay, today we're listening to movie soundtracks, and then tomorrow we're gonna just be like bumping our heads to some Limp Bizkit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
That's a
thank
name I
you.
have not heard in a very long time.
You're welcome.
And the album, Chester's last album was One More Light.
Yes, that's the one. Oh man, that hit. That hit.
It really did. It was so emotional.
Dang.
Personally, Heavy was my favorite, and then after that was One More Light.
Yeah,
What about
so
you?
good. I really liked the Transformers album, or at least
hmm
that song that they did.
Dude, New Divide. Yeah,
Yes.
I
Oh,
remember that. God, that was so cool. That was so good.
yeah, I
All
think that
right,
was one
guys,
of
we
my.
got a new question asker.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Okay.
Keep
Hello.
rolling.
Hello.
Hi.
All right.
Hello there.
So I have a question for you.
Go for it.
So you and Ororon, I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It just turns into Ororor.
See, that's what I do sometimes, so it's all good.
So you and Ororon, are having tea or like whatever drink and desserts. What are you having and what is he having?
He's gonna have carrot cake, and I'm probably gonna have like something with Nutella in it. Whether it be a crepe or something like that, but it's definitely gonna have Nutella in it for sure.
I misunderstood you when you said Nutella in it. I immediately thought of like tea with a bit of Nutella in it.
Oh, hey, I might have tea. I might have tea with it. You know, who knows? That might taste weird, but yeah, definitely a dessert with Nutella in it. He'll be drinking his tea with some carrot cake, talking about how he saved Natland with all his people, and he'll show me his bruise from Granny.
I think Granny would join in on the little tea
Yes,
session.
exactly. She probably would, just to make sure that he behaved himself.
She's gonna have an Irish tea.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. Sorry.
That's it. That's my question. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
I'm just gonna hijack this for a little second because we're getting a lot of questions about that. Guys, the giveaway will be done after the live questions segment, so just stay tuned for it.
And that talk about carrot cake like reminded me about when I was a kid. We used to eat zucchini bread.
Oh,
Now I miss zucchini bread.
yes.
It's so good. Parfait.
Hello,
Hello.
can
We
you,
have another person. Hello,
hello,
Parfait.
can you
Yeah,
can you
sure.
guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. I just have two very quick questions. First one being, since we were talking about music, what music do you think Ororon would listen to?
Ooh, anything that you hear in Hot Topic. So,
That's fair.
yeah, anything, yeah. Well, okay, so it depends. If he's tending to his garden, it will probably be something more light. I don't know what it would be, but it would definitely be light. If he's in battle with his earbuds in, which I don't know why he would be, but it would be something pretty heavy. One of the more heavier Limp Bizkit type, that kind of stuff. You're like, that kind of stuff.
He would just be fighting like, "Don't talk to me. I'm listening to 3 Days Grace."
Yes, exactly. But when he's in his garden, it's gonna be much
Animal I
more
have
light.
become.
Whatever you decide that to be.
Yeah, I could see that.
Nice.
And the second question that I had, do you think you would want to get into any other Hoyoverse games like Honkai Star Rail or Zenless Zero, or would you just want to stick with Genshin?
Oh, I'm down for whatever. As a voice actor, I love doing what I do, so I wouldn't be stuck to one game. But I mean, if they'll have me, I would love to do Triple Z's and all the other ones. So yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I recommend them. They're really fun.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't looked into them, but I've definitely seen some cutscenes and stuff like that, and they look similar, but to me this seems like they play different. So I'll definitely have to
Yeah.
take a look at them. Thanks for those recommendations.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, that's all I had to ask. Hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
And
You too.
Mhm.
The triple Z's, the HI3s.
Yes.
Oh, the HI3 is its very own can of worms to get into.
Oh man.
Hello.
Proceed with caution.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello
Hello.
there, Rennie.
Apologize for my voice. I'm just a little sick.
Oh no.
But
No
would it
worries.
be all right to ask a bit of a serious question?
Here, this is what I'll say. If I say that's an interesting question, we'll move on. But go for it.
Okay. So I think most of us have seen the current situation in the ENVA scene, but I think there are those who don't understand the gravity of the situation. So if it's all right with you, from the point of view of someone directly affected, have you noticed a difference or an impact to yourself or a colleague ever since AI bled into the creative scene?
Yes. I think, I think this is the best way I can explain it, was when the computer came out in the 50s, right? Everybody was freaking out. It's going to take everybody's job. And I think that's when AI really took off. A lot of people were worried, very, very seriously worried, because, I mean, as a voice actor, we're unemployed until we have our next job. And so, um, it was scary. It was real scary. But then when I thought about it, um, AI doesn't have personality. I mean, as we've seen on social media, get all these ads, they're humanless, basically. And so what I thought about is, okay, let me just stop and think about, because there's so much chaos going around me, right? Every, voice actor meeting I was on, every hangout group that we had, everyone was talking about it and they were freaking out. And I said, okay, let me step back away from this for a moment and think logically. How do we work with AI? And so I've been in communication with two companies, and we've had weeks of discussions about how we can use AI to our benefit. And so what I've done is I've had two companies clone my voice, to where only they will use it and contact me every time. Now, of course, I have a contract with them. They've signed my contract. They've signed the AI Nava writer. And we've been in contact. And what was interesting is they contacted me the other day and they said, "Hey, Nathan, this company wants to use your AI voice for this company meeting." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's great. Sounds good. The rate was fantastic." And then they ended up going with a human voice, which was no surprise to me. So now that AI has kind of been here and is not going anywhere, I think everybody's calmed down and realized, okay, the human is the way to go. If you're doing some really cheap, if you got a low budget commercial that you're going to do on social media, okay, that's where they're going. But especially for the bigger hitters in commercial and video games, they're going to stick with humans. Great question, by the way.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm an artist myself, so I kind of understand
Oh
the
yeah.
struggles with AI. So that was a bit a relief to hear. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, thanks for answering that one, Nathan. For anyone else coming up on the stage, let's please try to withhold our questions about the strike. We can talk about that later, but I appreciate you taking the time to answer that regardless, Nathan.
Yeah.
Next up.
Hello? Okay, nice. Pardon if I sound super sleepy. It's kind of late over here.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no worries. Just wanted to take this chance really quick to again thank you for voicing Ororon. I think I speak for all of us here to say that you really brought him to life for so many of us, and we all love him. My question is, you mentioned before that you like to play video games, and you also mentioned Horizon. Are there any other like genres of video games that you particularly like RPGs or tactical strategy? Just wanted to hear what you like to play.
Yeah, RPGs are really cool. Like right now, if I'm not playing Genshin, I'm playing Star Wars Outlaws. That one
Ooh.
is awesome. If you haven't got it, just for the fact because they're a little bit different than other Star Wars games. So I won't go on a tangent on that. But yeah, I think third person. I think third person and open world is another one I really like. So if it's a third person open world, let's go for it.
Person open world. I'm pretty sure the market is creeping up for that, so I'm sure you'll find some games coming in soon for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I asked that because again, I also really like to play video games, and Genshin is again another open world game that I like a lot. So yeah, welcome to the Hoyoverse family, I guess. Sorry, I sound so
Thank you
tired right
very
now.
much. No, you're good. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone have fun today. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thanks, you too. Hey, he's got some good questions. Thanks, guys.
The Genshin Killer. Just look for any
Yeah.
game titled The Genshin Killer. Will be a third person open world game.
There you go. Exactly.
Hello. Hello.
Sakura Mochi, are you with us?
The COVID question. Are you muted?
They're no longer with us.
Oh, true. Well, they're still here.
Check your mic. Check your Discord.
I think they may be having audio issues.
We cannot hear you.
True.
Oh,
We can't hear you.
we'll come back.
That's unfortunate. Maybe they'll figure it out and come back to us later. In the meantime, I think we can bring someone else up. Yep. Random human. Wow, that's an appropriate name.
Nice.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello. This is a stupid question,
There
Alright,
are no stupid
no such
questions.
things.
and I would like to apologize to the British in advance.
Oh God. Okay. We might be on the cusp of offending Britain again.
Do you think Ororon, the Vegetable
got it.
Man? Do you think Vegetable Man would dip biscuits in tea?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good question. I don't think he's ever done it before, but he wouldn't be opposed to trying it, especially if there was little bits of vegetable in it, in the biscuit. Yeah, I don't think he would be opposed to it. He would definitely try it for sure.
Hooray!
Yeah. Throw a little bit of milk in that Earl Grey and a little dip. We don't like putting vegetables in the biscuits. Okay, then we will forego the vegetables and yes, I think he would dip it.
Hooray!
Okay. Now, my question is, what if the vegetables from those biscuits fell into the tea? Would that now make the tea a soup?
On this
Ooh,
technicality.
probably yes. And then it would have to go. We can't have that.
That's fair.
gross.
That's fair. Hello,
Pox,
Pox
hello.
Commissions.
Hello. Just before I begin, I'm just gonna say I love the voice you gave Ororon. He's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, yay!
So,
Thank you.
so my question is pretty silly to be honest, but which element from Genshin would you be if you were in the world of Genshin?
Ooh, probably hydro. I think if I wasn't born a human, I'd probably be a fish. My wife and I scuba dive, so definitely hydro for sure.
That's pretty nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
A true member of Fontanian society.
Yes, yes.
For reasons that I'm not going to spoil, since you clearly skipped Fontaine.
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
Mentor,
Sakura's back. Oh, we're
Can you
here.
hear me?
We can hear you this time. Yes.
Finally.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so my question is, you mentioned that the first time you saw Ororon, you thought he's completely different from your original opinion, right? Because you thought he was a silly guy. Yeah. So if you would think at yourself in that moment, what abilities would you thought he would have? Like seeing this dark guy for the first time, what would you think he will be able to do? Like his powers? Very stupid question, but you know.
No, that's a really good question. I don't know actually. I mean, I think Electro fits him. Actually, when I first saw him, I had no idea what he was gonna do, what was happening, you know, because we were still trying to figure out his personality. But I think Electro would fit him though.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Electro's just cool.
Hi.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Your volume is a little bit quiet. Do you think you can get closer to your mic if you're far from it?
Yeah, excuse me.
Oh, there we go.
No worries. That's better. I'm just gonna up you
According
as
to-
well.
According to you, which Archon quest is the worst?
The worst? All of them except
Yeah.
Natlan. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Definitely not biased.
I don't know. I mean, I can't give them all a fair shake simply for the fact that I tried to get to Natlan as fast as possible. Because one, it was more for research, but also to play and listen to Ororon and critique the mess out of my performance. So I can't give it a fair shake. I haven't really played that much to like some of the lands I had never even been in. So I don't really know actually. Ask me in a year and then I'll be able to tell you.
Yeah. It's all
Yeah,
for
okay. We'll make sure to bring you on again in a year and
There we go.
specifically ask you this very question.
All right, put it in your
Just
calendar.
write down the date. Write down the date, guys.
Alexa, remind me next year.
Good night. Ooh.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for your question. This is the last call for live Q&A questions, so if you have a burning desire inside of you to get your question out, put your hand up right now, or forever hold your peace. Oh, all right. I will give you 30 seconds. Starting.
Oh, random human is back.
Burn.
Hello, I've returned.
Hello there.
So have you ever experienced like when you're voice acting, like your voice hurting, like your throat hurting a lot? If so, do you know how to fix that?
Yes, to go on the silent treatment. I think there was one. I think it was actually in some of the fighting scenes that I was doing with Ororon that at the end of the 4-hour session, my throat was fatigued for sure. So the big thing I have is I'll have throat coat tea with me in the booth along with room temperature water. And then if I notice that it's kind of a little sore, I'll end the day early and I won't talk at a normal pitch. I might kind of talk a little bit down here like this, but I'll try not to talk as much as possible.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Remember, guys, your throat, your voice, that's all muscle. As with any other muscle-related injury or fatigue, you gotta rest it.
You are a sack of muscle. Remember that.
Yes.
True. For a second there, I thought you were about to call me a sack of muscle. I was like, well, technically, that's correct, but
Oh yeah, I mean technically it's correct for all of us.
that is very true. We are all sacks of muscle. I am a
Yum.
muscle. No, you are a sack of muscle, Zephyr. Get it right.
Are you an Xbox? Yes.
Sack of muscles to describe the voice is something that has entered my brain and probably would never leave.
You're
So
welcome.
thanks for
You're
that.
welcome.
Same.
Hi, I have returned, and I do have another
Come on.
question. I think, Nathan, you mentioned before that you had some plants around your house. So I was kind of curious to ask, do you have any favorites?
Ooh, man, I have to be careful because my wife is listening.
Oh.
Let me see here.
Oops.
Oh no.
I apologize in advance.
No. I'm just teasing. Yes, I have been told that the Albo Monstera is our favorite. So yes, that actually. No, I think though the Albo was the one that we put the most work in, simply is because it was the one we invested the most in, and it almost died. Simply
Oh.
because when we got it, it was already set up for failure. But my wife did such an amazing job bringing it back to life, and now it is thriving. It almost got destroyed by spider mites, and
That does not sound like fun.
no, that was yeah. We don't want to talk about that. But no, it was amazing. I think the Albo, yes, yeah, that the Albo Monstera is the number one. Photosynthesis, yes.
Cool. Nice. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I can't believe you would pick a favorite of your children.
Hey, they're not vegetables.
Well, if they were vegetables, then you'd be eating them.
Oh yes. I do have a favorite though. So
I mean, okay, to be fair, consuming them would also make them part of you, and what greater love is there?
yes, then they would be part of
Wow.
your sack of muscles.
Absolutely.
I'm so sorry.
There you go. For that visual. Sorry, guys.
I mean, hey, listen. If sack of muscles is too problematic for you, someone also said meat mecca. You can pick
Oh,
whichever
that
you
is
want.
pretty cool. That is much cooler than sack of muscle.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm gonna say
Unfortunately
that
for
now.
you are made of meat.
Yes.
All right, anybody else coming up? Otherwise, we'll be moving on in. Hold on, I lost the time. Yeah, 30 seconds.
Hello.
Hello there.
Yep. Hello. Before my question, I heard you haven't played Fontaine.
I didn't quite catch that. Say again.
Sorry. I heard you didn't play Fontaine yet.
That's correct.
Okay. So if Ororon has a choice to pick a gun, which gun will be picked? Because Fontaine has some characters that use gun, basically.
If you were to pick a gun?
If Ororon were to pick a gun, yeah.
Oh. I have no idea. Wow. Okay. Add that to the list for next year.
For next year.
Yes, because I have no idea.
Have you seen Chaska's gun though?
Oh,
I don't think that qualifies. I don't think that qualifies as a gun, guys.
I think
That's a
it
weapon
qualifies
of
as
mass
the
destruction.
gun. I
No,
think
it,
it's
it might
the
be just the
definition.
god of guns. It might just be the god of
The
guns.
Archon of gun.
Yes, that is
True.
the gun Archon.
We have some characters like that. We have Chaska, who is the Archon of gun. We have Wanderer, who is the Archon of hats. We definitely
yeah.
have characters like that.
It's funny.
Yeah, okay, that makes
Okay.
Ororon the Archon of vegetable.
Ooh, the vegetable Archon.
Although actually, he would have to duke it out with Nahida.
Yeah.
The Archon of radish.
She is the radish herself.
They probably would just make a whole big garden themselves. They would manage Eden, a garden facility.
Okay.
Ororon should have been in Sumeru. He would fit perfectly.
There you go.
Listen. When we're back here in a year, we can see if Ororon pays a visit to Sumeru. I'm sure he'd want to, considering it's the Dendroland. All those
Yes.
vegetables.
Oh, he would love that.
Talking vegetables.
Yeah, I saw in the chat. I don't think Ororon could handle Barrett's arm gun. It would fall.
Oh, on those
He
twig
couldn't even pick it
arms.
up. Yeah, he couldn't even pick it up.
The real question is, where does Barrett keep the ammo? Where
That's
does it
what
go?
I ask. I'm like, it's just unlimited ammo nonstop.
Yeah, we're
I'm like,
27 years in and we still don't know the answer to this question.
it's not a question to be asked. It's one of those like, yeah, we just don't ask those questions. And I'm like, dang it, but where?
Who knows?
I don't know.
All
We'll still be
right, are
asking
we
27 years
done?
from now.
Is that everybody? Nope.
Oh, got
No,
Cupid.
we have one more. Cryptid K, hello there.
Okay.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. First of all, it's so lovely to meet you. I just had a very interesting question of if you had to describe Orion as a dish, what tones and spices would you describe him as?
Oh, that's interesting. What was the other one? So you said spices and what else?
Like undertones and spices. Like what flavors
Oh,
do you think his
undertones.
dish would have?
It would be. That's a good question. It would. I don't know. Something like not like a pesto that stands out, but something that's going to be more like an aftertaste type thing. So like if you're drinking wine, it'd be like a blackberry or a crank currant or something like that in the back end. So it would be something like a spice or something that wouldn't stand out immediately, but as you continue to chew, you're like, oh, okay, I could see that. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. That's what I would think. Interesting question.
Thank you so much. I work as a chef, so sometimes I like to imagine characters and what they would be as a dish.
Huh. Interesting. You know what? I'm gonna have to think about that now.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Well, I think that was our last live Q&A question. So we're going to move on to Twitch chat. And anyone that wants to submit questions, Hoyo's Cafe, hashtag Ororon-VA/Q&A, which I will actually pin here. Put your questions there. Any questions that haven't been answered, we will try to get to those now. So this is your last chance. If you don't ask a question now, you'll never ask a question unless you wait for next year, apparently.
Hey, it's in the calendar.
True. Okay. Twitch chat, this is your time to shine. Give us some questions, guys. Peanut690 said, we are cooking with those questions. I see what you did there. I do not approve of what you did there. You should go sit in your corner and think about what you've done.
Those guys are
we
good.
have a question. Yeah, they really are. Actually, I do have a question about that that we can get to in a second. But it's me Mighty asks, what is your overall experience voicing Ororon?
It's been a lot of fun. It's been an amazing experience. The producers, everybody's been really good. Chris, who's one of the booth directors, he's also a voice actor, so he really helps get Ororon where he needs to be as a director, and helps me kind of like direct and guide me. So yeah.
Okay. Next question. Do you think Ororon would enjoy the amazing and extremely funny dad jokes told by Sino? For context, Sino is a different character, and he, let's just say he is a very humoristic individual. Do you think
Yeah.
Ororon would like dad jokes?
Probably not. That's where me and him differ. Cause I mean, I'm dad jokes all the way, and I don't even have kids. I think Ororon would just kind of stare and look at you and be like, "It's interesting. Have you seen my carrot recently?"
Ooh, this one's interesting. Is there any other game in which you would like to participate as a VA? If if you could have your pick, what game would you like to play a part in?
Any Star Wars games. I think I'm yeah, any Star Wars game would be cool. Or really any Hoyoverse game, that would be really awesome. I'm just down to do all the voice acting of all the things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully you get one of the Star Wars lead roles.
Hey, who knows? Who knows? I gotta send an email to my agent.
I believe. I'll also be sending an email to your agent.
Thank you very much.
We'll all be sending emails to your agent. They
Yes.
cannot resist. We
They're
have
gonna
some
be like, "Oh my
numbers.
god, what is this?" We'll make him an Ewok. How about that?
Oh my god. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
All right, I got a question from Discord. What did you do before voice acting? Did you always know you want to be a voice actor, or is this like a career change for you?
It was a huge career change. I had always made silly voices when I was a kid, and my mom would always like, "Do you like to hear yourself talk?" So I was always talking. Um, but I never really considered voice acting until if you go into Google, type in Don LaFontaine Geico commercial. That is what was the turning point for me. I really wanted to. I thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" That was the guy Don LaFontaine. If you don't know him, is the trailer voiceover guy who coined "In a world where one man." And so then it took me forever to find training. I got the training, and then went from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. It's never too late to try something new. You can
Oh, yeah.
always do what you want,
Absolutely.
get the skills and careers.
Yes, there's always a voice for every character. So if you don't like your voice, somebody does.
That is true. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us don't like our own voices. You know, the whole trope of hearing yourself talk.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
holy, is that me?
You're right. That's been a thing watching Ororon. I'm like, "Oh, I hear me and I see Ororon." To me, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, I love it. The voice fits perfectly." But even now, I'm listening and I'm like, I don't hear it. I hear me and I see Ororon. So the more I watch it, the more it's starting to blend, but it's still it's so weird.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I imagine it would be weirder to see your voice coming out of some.
Yes, that is.
I
yeah,
love listening to myself talk though.
Oh, there you go. See, that's perfect.
I can't relate. I can't relate.
I
And
guess that's
I
why
I have to do this regularly. God, do you have any advice for that, by the way? Just getting more comfortable hearing yourself. Because
do
obviously
it.
we stream.
Yeah.
We do YouTube videos all the time as well. So it is actually just a struggle sometimes.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, especially if you hate it, it's gonna take a long time to just go with it. Just do it over and over and over and over again, and eventually maybe you'll. I mean, you may not ever like it, but you'll just come to par with it. You'll be like, "Okay, this is what it is." So just keep doing
Okay.
it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll try. Okay. We have a couple more interesting questions. Would you be interested in live acting, or do you want to stay voice only?
That's interesting. I've done some live acting in school. um,
Mm.
no, that'd be cool.
Theater.
Yeah, exactly. I was in theater class. I did play Watson, Sherlock Holmes. I played.
Okay. So someone sign him up for the next stage play of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
Come
there
on,
you go.
get on it
It's
right now.
elementary, my dear Watson. Elementary. um, that's interesting. That's gonna be. I would like to do that, but that's a whole nother training in itself. And it's nice because I don't have to go anywhere. Yes, if I had the opportunity, like, hey Nathan, you want to try this? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd try it.
Okay. That's fair. And then the next one. This one might either be the hardest question in the world or the easiest question in the world. What is your one favorite dish that you could always devour?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably pizza. I love pizza. I could eat pizza every single day, or sushi. I could eat sushi every single day.
Okay. Ooh, someone followed up with pineapple pizza question mark.
Oh, that we have to ban that question.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's fair. That
I'm a
that
fan of
one's
pineapple pizza. Y'all can
Okay,
fight me
no,
on that.
I like pineapple pizza if it's like a chicken variety pizza.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not a fan
I
of
think
fruit
it
on pizza.
balances it. Okay.
Well,
Question
now that
is
you
then
awoke the Star Wars nation, who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Oh, R2 for sure, 100%. He's spicy without
Spicy.
saying a word. Yeah, I like he keeps C3PO in check, keeps him level. Yeah, and I've got quite a few R2 things lying around the house next to my UCS Lego Millennium Falcon. So yes, R2 for sure.
the voice of reason in the group.
Yes. And he's gonna bash you over the face while he's trying to reason with you.
That's true. I mean that's just Granny. Like,
Yeah,
come
he's a
on.
toned down
It's
granny.
Yeah, I don't think
absolutely.
Granny's trying to reason with you, but
No.
there's no reason there. There's just smash in the face.
Yeah.
We delight in the ultra-violent. If you could live anywhere in Teyvat, where would you live?
Ooh, okay. I know it's gonna sound biased, but either Natland simply because it's colorful, and I really like the stage where the fire is coming out. That's kind of fun.
Mhm.
Or probably um, there's a lot of water, or the Arrow folks. Yeah, probably Natland. I like Natland.
Okay.
How
Very colorful.
unexpected of you to
I
say.
know. I know.
I would never have guessed.
I know. What can I say?
Yeah, true. It is.
I'm a shocker.
Hmm. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I also do not approve of what you did there.
Banned.
I'm gonna have to call Granny on that one.
Oh crap. Gosh. I'm trying to get over the last
But
one.
hey. Listen, you might not have much in common with Ororon, but that was definitely Sino tier.
That was definitely hit worthy.
The other Electro character.
Yes.
Okay, and what's your favorite anime if you watch anime?
AOT. That I think
Okay.
that was one of my first. I was introduced to that by my brother. He's huge in anime. And I'm like, oh my god. I never was a fan. I never really cared about it until he's just like, just watch the first 3 episodes. And if you don't like it, then you'll never have to watch it again. I watched it every single day for the next 4.5 days and like binged the whole first season. And I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. And then another one, oh my gosh, my wife's gonna hit me. It's the one with the bugs. Come on, Chels, help me out here. Oh my gosh.
One
Yeah,
with the
it's
bugs.
they're
Could you
gigantic.
narrow that down?
They're gigantic beetles, and it was a thing. It was a show from the '80s, or an anime from the '80s. But as soon as it comes to me, I'll let you know. But anyways, so yes, AOT I think was one of my favorites. And then some of the more recent ones have been really good. Just finished watching some Studio Ghibli stuff, which is pretty interesting. So I like that a lot. Yeah, I
People are
love the
saying
color.
Nausicaa.
Yes. Yes. I think that's the one. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, chat came in clutch with that one.
Thank you.
Yes, chat.
Aren't they like
All
big
right, if
beetles?
you were in a tribe in Natlan, which one would you be in? Like you specifically.
Probably the and now of course as you asked me, it's not coming to me. The springs. Come on, give it to me. What's
The Children of the Springs.
Yes, the Children of the Springs, because either I'm in the air or underwater. And I
People of
probably
the Springs,
Yes,
yeah.
People of the Springs. Thank you. I've probably spent more time underwater than I have in the air. I do love flying, but I scuba dive a lot too. So yeah, probably People of the Springs.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Plus they've
Man, I
got
really love
the
Signs
hot
of the
tubs.
Spells, though. That's
Yeah.
true.
Hot springs are legit.
No wonder he said he would be Hydro. True.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. He is a fish.
Honestly,
Yep,
this
definitely.
interview is just an excuse to build up Nathan's personal character inside of Tevat. We're
There we
just
go.
we're just chipping for information here.
Yeah, so he's ready to
Don't
play
tell him no.
Genshin D&D. There you go. Your
Absolutely.
character sheet
Oh
is
my
built.
god, Genshin D&D.
100
Oh
stats into
god.
You have anything else, Eris?
We have, I think this can be the last question from Twitch chat. And then once we're done with questions, we can move on to the giveaway. Are you one of those few players that play TCG? Well, I don't know about few. TCG in Genshin is surprisingly popular. But do you play Genius Invocation TCG?
Probably not.
Hmm.
I think you guys, well, like I'm still trying to build. So to be honest with you, probably not at the moment. But I don't know, who knows? In the future, I might look into it.
Okay. Well, if you need help with Genshin
I need
of
help
any
with all the
sort, you
things.
know where. Yeah, I mean, just we're more than happy to help out. We kind of
Okay.
do this for a living, so
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
anytime. Okay. That is the last question we'll be taking from our Twitch chat. Do we have any more questions we want to take from Hoyo's Cafe from the Discord?
That about sums it up. Anything you want to add, Nathan, that you have a burning desire to talk about that hasn't been asked?
No, I mean, I really appreciate, the fans. I know at the very beginning it was a little bumpy ride with the Genshin community and the new characters coming out, but I really appreciate everyone being kind and loving and just such an amazing fan base. And yeah, I think a lot of people did what they needed to do respectfully, which was really good. So thanks for supporting me. Thanks for supporting Ororon and Genshin. And I mean, without you guys, I wouldn't have a job. So again, thank you for everything that y'all do and for the artwork that y'all have sent me. I've had people send me keychains and visions and stuff like that. So thank you guys a lot. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're
That's
super
adorable.
glad that you joined us today. Spent your time with us. And if people want to find you, do you have any socials or do you
Yeah,
know?
so my Instagram,
Yeah.
Nathan_Nokes_VO. For some reason, Instagram kicked me off of the original one. So Nathan_Nokes_VO. You'll see my face there. LinkedIn, which is the more business side that I'll use. I'm on Twitter, NathanNokesVO, Blue Sky, NathanNokesVO. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for spending the day with us. And that's all he wrote, folks.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much for having me.